everybody, we are back for the final episode of One Book July 2019, and here we are in my Foxy Fix, my little micro traveler's notebook. I need to get my passport out because I have some notes in there. In One Book Julys in the past, I have used a standard Midori. I used a personal size traveler's notebook. I've used Passport. I used, one year I used an A5, well, tried to use an A5, ended up going down to a B6 and then back into a Passport. And then this year I used a Micro, which is the smallest traveler's notebook I've used ever for this. So this Foxy Fix, if you've seen any of my videos, it's the one that has the pocket back here. I use this as my wallet. I had credit cards and stuff in there. I also sometimes had cards and receipts and stickers and a writing board. But this one was nice to have as a wallet because I could put cash and receipts back here, so it wouldn't bulk up the inside too much. And then that had my IDs in it. So since I didn't go the traditional route for the bullet journal, I didn't go for the, you know, the A5 or A6 or B6 Leuchtturm type Moleskine expanded type of a notebook. I went this small because I wanted to show people that you actually can make something this small function for you. And it did. It functioned so well. And it actually made me think a little bit differently about my planning. Now, because it is so small and that I was using a dot grid insert, this is a Tomoe River paper insert from Paper Penguin Co. It has 160 pages. I numbered all of the odd pages, so you can see down there. Since it had 160 pages, and because of the size, I know I couldn't make it function the way the traditional bullet journal method did or does. So what I did is I used my Pikidori Design monthly calendar for planning in the month and also for future planning. So I had to have this. This kind of serves as that function of the list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, you know, it served that function just because of the sheer size of the page. Just to remind everyone, 4 by 3, that is the size of a micro insert. This right here is a Passport, which is 5 by 3.5. So this is 1 inch taller and 1/2 inch wider. So you can see really how much smaller the micro is even than the Passport. So I started this insert on June 24th. And the reason I started early on June 24th is we went on vacation. We left on the 29th of June, and we didn't get back until the 7th of July. So I wanted to have it set, ready to go. So this was all I had to carry with me on our trip. So let's see. And again, I set this up to use like an index, but I didn't really do it. So I guess I have 3 pages, 1, 2, 3, which I don't know. I might do something with that. So let me see. This will go over my no spend July in the next video. Well, I think the next video I might have one before it. So let's go back. Okay. So I think this is where we stopped. And you can see I was already on page 129. And I had used the last few pages for some stuff. So I didn't finish the month in this, and I barely finished the last week in it just because there weren't enough pages. But I still used it, like I was talking, web page design. Here we are Monday, my lists. I had a lot to do on Monday. That was a very busy day. And it didn't, I knew that I didn't have many pages left, so I did cut down a lot of the writing that I would do, or note-taking. Here were some notes about some programs to look at. Oh, I had done one of those things. I'm INFJ, and these were some of the, anyways, some of the notes from that. And just so people can see, since it was so small, what I did is I highlighted it, and then you'll see that it continues. It continues, it continues. So all of those under that blue highlighter are notes about that, I can't remember the name of that test that I took, but INFJ, and so it's just some typical characteristics of an INFJ, which I actually fit to a T. And then that got me thinking, and I wrote some notes about KonMariing and stuff like that. And then I kind of got a little wordy. And then Tuesday happened. Oops. I did these, but I didn't mark them off. So you can see I didn't do my review that day. And then I did a little bit more journaling. And then I came up with some new rules for the no spend, low spend, which we will talk about in an upcoming video. Some other ideas. And then you can see, boop, I'm at the end. So I used this through Tuesday. So I made it, where's the, just a month. I started it on the 24th of June and finished the 23rd of July because I had tested some stencils to see the size comparison to the dot grids. So if there's a stencil that you like to use, that's something that's good to do. So that was my bullet journal portion. Here is the art. And one of the reasons why I separated them is I wanted this to be like work and tasks and stuff like that type of stuff. And then this, I wanted like the journal portion separate from all of that. So when we were in here last, I think I had shown this, my little Winnie the Pooh, and then I did do a little bit more journaling, and I was just putting words on page, words on page, words on page. But then I wanted to do some more art. So you saw this one because that was on the, maybe you did, on the 22nd. Yeah, I think so. And I had the Arteza company send me some brush pens, and they also sent me some dual tip pens that are very similar to Tombow, and I'm gonna have a review of those coming soon. But I wanted to test them to see, you know, those were brush pens. They didn't, real brush pens, so it's not like a Tombow they didn't bleed through, but they did ghost, because this is Tomoe River paper. And since you saw Winnie the Pooh, I decided to draw a Piglet and Winnie the Pooh, like on a little bridge, kind of like you would have seen on Charlie Brown. And then I did Eeyore and Tigger. And these are the brush pens with water. You can see they activate very similarly to a Tombow. I just thought they were a couple of pretty colors. There's 3 colors there. I can't remember the color names. I do have a few blank pages here in the middle. And then I was doing some swatches. And these are the dual-tipped ones that have the brush, which isn't a brush like a real fine brush. It's a brush like a Tombow, and then a pointed end. And there's the others. So I've got 2 sets of 48 markers to share with you guys. So that's kind of where we are at the end of the month. And I just think those guys look so cute in there. I thought Eeyore turned out really great. These 2, when I first sketched them, I was not very happy with, but I was able to, when laying down the brush pen ink like watercolors, I was able to fix them a little bit. Anyways, so some thoughts that I had. You know, I stayed in this notebook, you know, for as long as I had pages. I guess I could have finished in here, these last few pages here. But I might do some fun art with them, because these pages are gonna be in the video for Arteza. But, you know, I stayed in this notebook for, you know, 30 days, which is really good. My only reason for leaving it is because I ran out of pages. I only had 1 dot grid notebook this size. I didn't think I would use it all. And I didn't think I would use it all because I didn't know if I would be able to stay in it. One thing I did learn is, you know, I learned that you can use a small notebook like this and really get it to work for you, which is nice. With the idea of reducing the size of my notebook, because the very first one I participated in, but I didn't film, I used a standard notebook. So you can see the size. My micro open is the size of the standard. So everything I was doing, I was like minimizing. And I had some interesting epiphanies, which you might have noticed over the last few videos, is I have a lot of traveler's notebooks. I'm sure you all know that. I'm sure you all have watched many of the unboxings, and I have a lot. And I have a lot that I don't use. Not that I don't like them, and not that they're not beautiful notebooks, but if you were to take my whole original collection before I started selling some of them this last month, I mean, I could have used a traveler's notebook for like 2 days. Like used one for 2 days, switched to another one for 2 days, switched to a new size for 2 days, and I could have done that for an entire year and have made it the entire year with only using the notebooks I had. You know, so that's over 100 and... you do the math. I won't do the math. So, I mean, I did have a lot of notebooks that I just don't use, won't go back to, number 1, because of size, and number 2, there's a few that, you know, I'm not sure I'd use because they were mysteries and, you know, the color, or I wouldn't use, you know, for fear of, you know, damaging the leather, which I find so ironic because like this camel I've used and abused, and just a little bit of conditioner, and it looks beautiful again. You know, so especially some of those more nude leathers, I'm always afraid of those. I shouldn't be, but I am. So, you know, so that here, let me find the cute little photos you can look at. So I started selling my traveler's notebooks, and I've sold, the first round I did like 30 to 40, and then I've started the second round, and I've released, well, I've set 20 up for sale, and I've sold, I think, 13 maybe. And some of them were notebooks that you've seen recently, like my Chic Sparrow Pocket Fern, my Chic Sparrow Personal Fern, my Nightingale, my Claire Outlander, like a Narrow in the Black Beauty. Goodness gracious, what else? Some Foxy Fix personal size, like the Poppy Seed. Like I've sold some notebooks that you've seen me use recently, and I actually feel really good. I don't feel any attachment to them. You know, I thanked them for the time that I had them, and you know what I learned, and it was nice to send them off to, you know, forever homes, because I know that the ladies that have them will use them and will love them. So that's been, you know, that's been a good thing for me to learn. I did learn that I was able to do art in this small of a size. I know a lot of people thought I was crazy. They're like, what can you do in there? Well, you know, you can do a little cartoon character. You can do, there's another little cartoon character, another Winnie the Pooh. I put washi tape down. I do have some pages that have just, you know, beautiful blends and shades of colors. I don't know, I like that, like Quinn and purple kind of a, I don't know, there's something about that pink and purple that I like. And I'm not a pink person, but I love the pink. So I learned I could do art. One thing that I did comment on in the last video is it really made me have some time and actually sit with my thoughts instead of just writing everything down. It actually had me time to think things through, because due to that I'm a Gemini and I'm an INFJ, ideas kind of at me, and sometimes I feel I have to write it down, because if I write it down, I'm totally going to, if I don't write it down, I'm totally going to forget about it. And that is, you know, something that sometimes happens, you know, just a little bit. But it actually, you know, made me really sit down with, you know, my thoughts and to be a little bit more mindful, really sit down and think about my intention. And then, you know, I was able to write. So I wasn't just writing because I have to have a tendency to need to write or need to be doing something with my hand. You know, just putting down stuff that I don't need to put down because I'm not going to need to review in the future. So it was kind of, you know, it gave me time to really think and ponder my thoughts, and that was a good thing. So there we are. That is how my one book July ended, and it was a good one book July, because I learned quite a lot about my planning system, about my it helped put into perspective some more of my spending ideas. It helped me really clarify a little bit my no spend, low spend. So when I do my July review for my no spend, low spend, you will see some new guidelines that I presented for myself so I could make it a little bit more concrete. Because at the beginning of the year, all I was really doing is I wanted to just track and see how I was spending, and see how that made me feel inside. And it wasn't like I was out of control or anything. But it did make me look to see if there's any habits or if it was a response, me spending, if it was a response to anything going on either in our culture, in our country, with politics and all that fun stuff, or anything going on in family life issues or that type of stuff. So it was a very good one book July, and it started and ended in a way that, with me having insights that I don't think I would have had if I would have had a larger notebook. If I would have just said, oh, well, I haven't used my standard traveler's notebook in a while, am I going, I don't think I would have those same, some of those same thoughts because of, number one, the sheer space that you have to write. Yeah, this was a fun notebook to do. Just because of that. So it really made me think differently about how I'm using my bullet journal, how I'm using my planner. Would you call what I am doing bullet journaling? Maybe. Anyways, so those are my thoughts. This is going to be the notebook that I go back to, well, this is what this stuff is being housed in right now. I'm going back to the passport size, and I think I either have had a video go up or there will be a video going up. I've pre-filmed a few videos, so you can see I'm not going up that much larger, just growing an inch in height and a ½ inch in width. But I'm still going to be using a dot grid insert of Tomoe River paper. That's 160 pages from Paper Penguin Co. And so that will give you a little hint for things to come in the month of August. Okay, if you have any questions, leave them down below. How did your one book July end? Did it end how you were planning? What did you learn? How did it help with your further development of your planning system? I would love to hear that. Okay, so thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.